Hey, welcome back to the channel. Getting this video in at the last minute. I've wanted to be consistent about getting a video out every week, so I'm doing it, and I'm getting this one out at the last minute. So I thought I'd get a video out about different stud finders that I've used over the years and use now, and my thoughts on those, and see if I can get some feedback from you guys. If you have any other wall sensors or stud finders that you recommend, I'd like to hear about those. But in the meantime, I kind of been organizing my workshop a little bit. This stuff here was just loose, but I ended up having this in my van for a while. And I bought a while back, and I thought, boy, it's functional to have the drawers instead of having to open the top. But I found I wasn't really using it that much in the van, so that's helped a lot to use that drawer box, that DeWalt drawer box. It's good quality and heavy duty. And then I found this little one here at Lowe's, and it just got some router bits and things like that in there. But it's just makes a difference to have those drawers. Okay, so these are the different stud finders that I've used over the years and actually continue to use. This one here is the Stud Buddy. It's magnets, and you kind of run it over the wall and you find the nails, and I'll kind of show that. Just the Zeron. Most people are probably familiar with this. This would be the first kind of stud finder really that I ever used, or some version of this Zeron stud finder. And this is the Franklin Sensors stud finder. And this is the one I've been mostly using in the recent years. And the most recent one I got is the Walbot DIY 2. It's a stud finder / wall sensor. So it picks up electrical wires along with plumbing as well. But I'll go along and kind of show how each one is used, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, so this is the Stud Buddy. So basically you just find a nail like here, and you kind of go vertically until you find another nail, and you just kind of connect the dots, and that kind of gives you where your stud is with this one. It actually works pretty good. Okay, so with the Zeron, you go until you find the edge of the stud. So you come along the wall, you mark one side, and then you bring it back to the other side and mark that side. So again, from the left, find the stud, to the right, find the stud. Okay, so with the Franklin sensor, as you run the sensor across the wall, wherever there's framing members, you'll see the LED lights light up. 3 of those lights are 1.5 inches, so that gives you a good indicator exactly where the stud is. Okay, so the Walbot is used in connection with your cell phone. So it's actually an app that you download. You turn the Walbot on, it connects through Wi-Fi to your cell phone. And your cell phone is actually the screen for the Walbot. Once you're connected, you have to calibrate the Walbot, and you do that by placing the sensor on the wall and bringing it in circles until the app basically tells you the calibration is done. So then it has 2 different modes. It has an image mode and an expert mode. I generally use the image mode, and that'll show you metal in the wall. It'll show you like this, wood studs. This is the image that it presents for wood studs. And then it'll show you electrical wires also in the walls. So basically with this one, you take the scanner and you just run it along the wall, and it'll identify those different objects in the wall. Again, it's going to be the yellow or brown for studs. It's going to be the gray for metal. And then it's going to be a purple line for electrical. And that's about it on the Walbot. Okay, so that's how each one of those works. So what do I think of each of these? Well, the Stud Buddy, I guess you would call it, There is a place for this. I've actually had to use this on a couple of occasions where neither one of these could find anything. It's some thick plaster, and lath scenario. I couldn't make sense of anything in the walls, but I could start to identify where the screws or nails for the plaster lath or board or whatever was behind there with the magnet. So low tech has actually worked when high tech has failed. So I do keep it around, don't use it that often. The Zeron. So I really don't use this at all anymore. You can find studs with it. It gives a lot of false readings, but you can identify where the studs are with it. But I just find that it's not as reliable and not as easy to use as the Franklin. What I like about the Franklin is you can really pinpoint where that stud is with the LED lights lighting up, and you can really make accurate marks where your framing is so that you know you're getting into some framing there. So for that, I do like the Franklin sensor. So the Walbot does allow you to avoid problems with hitting plumbing or electrical. So I do like that. It scans deep into the wall. It's just on a project I used it, and the electrical wires, I mean, they were deep inside that wall cavity. It still detected them. So I like knowing that. So generally, if I find any kind of plumbing or electrical where I'm going to be screwing cabinets to the wall or something like that, I just stay completely clear of that area. If I can, if I really have to pinpoint with a stud and get around that stuff, I will if I have to, but I try to stay completely clear of it. However, I use this to identify those hazards, but I still use the Franklin to really pinpoint where each one of those studs are. And so for that reason, I use both of these, and there may be a time I'm still going to use this one here. So they all have their pluses and minuses. I like the Walbot for what it's for really identifying those things that could be a real problem for you. And that goes a long way to helping prevent those kind of mistakes. This really can identify exactly where the studs are. Not as much so with the Walbot. It's great for identifying those hazardous areas and those things you want to avoid. But really identifying where that stud is on the screen of your phone and with the sensor being separate, it's not as accurate as using this to really identify it. So I use them both now for different things. If I come across that thick plastered wall or something where the sensors aren't really working that good, I'll still go back to this one. I keep this as a backup in case the Franklin's not working. I have it, so I keep it for that. But if I was going to go out today and had none of these and was going to buy a stud finder, I would first buy this. If I, had another couple $100 to spend, I would get the Walbot for sure to avoid those could potentially costly mistakes. So yeah, that's it. That's my take on the stud finders. I do know there are some good wall scanners out there. There's some fairly expensive ones. I don't know how good they work. This works for me, but if you have some of the other ones, I know they got some integrated screens on, I don't know if it's Bosch or some of the other brands that make them. If you have some experience with those and think they're worth spending the money on, please comment, let us know. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.